Yeah? So Gordon's going to be giving us some insights about brand integration using print marketing campaigns. Gordon.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's lovely to see you still attentive at this time. Don't forget, I'm the only person preventing you from the bar. So, the BPMA is the British Promotional Merchandise Association. We have around 550 members, very similar to the IPIA. So what I'd like to do over the next 15 minutes is just really inspire you a little bit with some of the really great ideas that you can use in print and promotional products. We've done quite a lot of research, actually, over the last 2 or 3 years, particularly at Marketing Week Live, the big exhibition I'm sure you're familiar with. The reason I put that image up there, I think it's very apt, particularly in this uncertain world that we live in. We need to stand out. We need to create attention. And the great thing about promotional products is exactly that. It's their brand in their hand. And I think it's really, really important that we realize that promotional products is a very, very powerful advertising medium. So we commissioned some research, actually, at Marketing Week in 2013, and we asked marketeers, in your perception, which of the following advertising media has the best ability to get you to take action? And we actually found promotional products were a very, very effective tool to be doing that. Can I just get a straw poll at the moment around the room? Who's currently buying promotional products in some shape or form? Okay, some are big hands, some are small hands. And I think you're going to start to see some really innovative ways. I think perhaps you can consider that for future campaigns. We also found out that this advertising medium is one of the most effective mediums to say thank you. I think we so underestimate the value of our clients and our employees. And what's great about promotional products is you can use it as a very good way of doing just that. One of the things that came out in the research is what were the key elements in an effective promotional product. Certainly, surprisingly, quality, not surprisingly, but people want a quality product more than anything else. The challenge our industries often face is people don't necessarily want to spend a huge amount of money. In other words, they want a high quality product, but don't actually want to spend a huge amount of money to do so. Well, the evidence is slightly different to that. Memorable, people want to be reminded of that product consistently. Average length for a promotional product, how long do you think people keep a promotional item for? Anybody like to hazard a guess? Sorry? 5 years. 5 years. No, on average, I'd love to say it was 5 years, sir, but actually it's 2.5 years. But if you think about it, it's something like a mug, a promotional mug. We drink, as a nation, on average, 1,500 cups of tea and coffee per year. So that's how many impacts and impressions your recipient, your customers are getting day in, day out. Yeah? And what's really nice is I wandered around in the break to see so many of the suppliers in the room, actually, particularly this company over here with Webmart, using promotional products as an effective tool to engage, to stop. The other thing is relevance. Something like 70% of promotional products is actually ordered and delivered within 10 working days. Now, there are benefits and not such great benefits in that. Benefits in the fact that you can get stuff very quickly, and some of our members actually will resource products in 2 days. But of course, what that doesn't do is it doesn't give you enough time sometimes to really think about promotional products as part of your strategic marketing campaign. Because one of my big issues is I want you to be able to consider promotional products in the totality. So when you're thinking about an exhibition or a campaign and you're doing the direct mail, you're thinking about the exhibition, promotional products is a part of that, and it has a well-defined theme. Biggest selling products are pens by quantity, but bags by value. What we've seen is a huge growth in electronic items. You can pretty much get anything around the phone, some amazing gifts. And I'll go on to share some of them with you in a minute. So one of the things I always say to you when you're considering it, make sure that you really, and I know this sounds obvious, but really think about your target audience. Many of you will have sourced promotional products from a website or indeed from catalogues. What I'd like you to think about doing is actually start from a blank piece of paper. What is it that your target client is doing? And I'll give you an example of that. What do you want to achieve from this? And what sort of budget have you set aside to enable that to happen? The other important thing is lead time. If you've thought about a big campaign, you know, products can be sourced from the Far East much, much quicker now than ever before. So really think about that. So what could we say about these products, for example? So here is a calculator and a ruler. So what you've got is multiple functioning items. Now, so often what we see on products is just simply the logo. What I'd like you to think about doing is adding a message that's relevant to that specific product. So something like, you know, we always measure our client's success. Here's another one, this is a world travel adapter. Really useful product, something like we're always adapting to our clients' needs. So what it's about is trying to create this relevance as well. You probably know this guy here, Charlie, from Pimlico Plumbers, multi-millionaire, really very successful. But a lot of what he was trying to do is to create this corporate image, and merchandise certainly played its part within that. But one of the things I was just talking to you earlier, if you were targeting a specific sector, you know, what does a plumber do? A lot of the time he's spending time in dark places, so something like a head torch would be really useful. A fridge magnet, so that actually when he gives the lady for the boiler renewal, he's got a little, he's got his logo on there to remind them about that. A radiator key. A fridge magnet, you know, all of these types of things that are really relevant, and that's what I'm trying to make a point there. Power banks were hugely popular and still are, but the point I really want to bring to your attention here is make sure that you're working with a credible promotional gift supplier. Particularly, I don't know if any of you heard about the EE situation where it got into the news because a number of those power chargers actually got overheated. And that's really about working with the right type of companies and make sure that products are compliant. We actually found in our research at Marketing Week Live that knowledge amongst marketeers about compliance was very varied, as you can see here. So that, in other words, you're putting a lot of faith when you buy promotional products. After which, your logo, your brand, you want to make sure that you're working with the right type of companies and products. I just thought you know, there's pretty much any shape that you can think of, we can make a USB stick of. Weird and wonderful things, some of which you can see there. And here's another example, if any of you were working with universities and students, is actually linking it with something like a coursework. It was a great campaign, really successful. You know, a notepad is a notepad, or is it? And of course, it's not. When you actually start to think about what that client might be using it for, there's a whole host of benefits here. So you've actually got a set of goals, set of targets. That then becomes so much more useful as a promotional gift. Personalised hampers. One of the most effective tools to get people to change behaviour is to actually give somebody a hamper. Of course, you can now personalise them. What people tend to do more and more, particularly if you're sending it to a team, is they share that amongst their office colleagues. We were talking about digital marketing earlier in print. Of course, it's played its part in promotional products as well. So you can personalise every single mug with that individual's name on it. The chances are they're going to keep it for a lot longer than if it was just the standard brand. But again, if you want to be a little bit different, why don't actually you use some really creative packaging? This was an example where you can see in the top there the mug box was shaped like a dishwasher. So again, it certainly creates some attention. You can go to the ultimate form of personalisation. I found this on the internet. I thought that was a bit unusual and different. But yeah, you know, when people start to see their own faces or their own name recognised, what happens is they do keep them. Or more importantly, they share it on social media. And that's the other thing that one consider with promotional products. Lots of on-pack promotions this year have been very successful around football and other events, and you've probably seen free product with free glasses with Jack Daniels and Stella Artois in some of the major retailers. Innocent did those little cooler covers there, which were very popular. Also Kellogg's. Did you see the personalised spoons in Kellogg's? Again, massively popular. You know, it really did. And the chances are people are going to keep these products for a hell of a long time. Another idea of promotional products is using books of which you can personalise and brand and create tipping inserts. And this was an example a few years ago that was actually put into a retailer. And you can see not only was it a branded item, but it actually created a revenue stream as well. Surveys, I'm sure many of you think about doing surveys and you want feedback. Well, it's getting harder and harder to get information back from people. So we're always suggesting using a really nice pen, branded pen is a really effective way. The one on the bottom actually was linked into the referendum, and not the recent one, the one in Scotland, either side. But again, it grabs attention. Magnetic advertising, don't underestimate if you've got your brand that's literally on your customers or your consumers' fridges. That's like a permanent advert, day in, day out, that they're seeing your name. And what, a magnet costing 20 or 30 pence, it's not expensive at all. Another great campaign I saw, which was, booking a client meeting. I don't know if any of you, when you go and see clients, actually use branded merchandise to leave behind. Always, always do that. And also think about it when you get a new customer as well. Rather than just sending a catalogue, think about what other items that you can share with them. Personalised calendars have been hugely popular, and I know you know about the benefits of digitalisation, but one of our members has been really successful in that. And again, packaging, linking it into URL codes, which keeps their attention. Yes, sorry, I was saying that a few minutes ago. Customer welcome packs. When we get a new customer, you're on trial, aren't you? There's no guarantee you're going to get a second order. What's really good about, I think this one on the right was a Royal Mail idea a little while ago, but the concept is think about your customers right at the outset, because they will be remembered. And also, what you can do, we all look to get engagement through social media, so why don't you reward them with a promotional item? So in other words, if people are sharing you on Facebook or on Twitter, perhaps you can send them a gift. There's another idea of cool seating. There's all sorts of different things out there. And what I love about this particular one on the right-hand corner for Nivea, they may have only made one of them, but that really did the rounds on social media. I don't know if any of you saw it, but it absolutely did. So this is a great way of really getting your brand out by being inventive with all sorts of creative ideas. We were saying right at the beginning about the importance of high-quality gifts. This was actually at London Fashion Week. And I think it's really important that you think about the right type of product for your client. If you haven't got a huge budget, it's better that actually you have fewer quantity and actually a higher spec. Promotional branded clothing is an absolute must for me, hugely understated but very, very effective. What we're starting to see now in a lot of the major retailers is, aside from uniform, they're now using short-term promotional clothing to create a really powerful message. His was some at exhibitions, but I mean, we've seen at HMV, Don't Ask Me About the New Nirvana album, or 10 pence off a litre of fuel at Tesco. So again, this is a really, the garments aren't particularly inexpensive, even for short term, but they really do work very well. Collectables, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the meerkats here. Over 3 million now have actually been sent away to consumers. Not the meerkats, but to nice little homes. But this is a real return on investment. It really is. And what's interesting about their television adverts, where is there any real mention of insurance? So what these little individuals have done, have created and empowered that organisation. So much so that we've now got Confused.com copying it with Brian the Toy. And when we had National Promotional Products Week in September, we had Promo Panda that went sort of all over the place. So again, is there a branded promotional item that would sum up your company or your message? Don't forget licensing is a really effective way of engaging with your clients. Whether or not you like Serene or not, you probably love the little minions, and so will one's children. So again, I think this was a very, very strong campaign that went viral. The Festival of Marketing show last two years ago, actually. The BPMA did all of the branded clothing and these rather unique umbrellas. I put that little thing up there at the top, 147 days. I feel like we've had all of that in June. But let's not forget, branded umbrellas are a very effective tool to create a message. Let's not forget goodie bags. I don't know if there's any at this particular event, but certainly it's a really effective way of reminding people when they take them out. London Marathon gave out loads, as you can imagine. But yeah. And last but not least is another very good example of the selfie stick. I don't know about you, but I always tend to find lots of non-British people using selfie sticks. I think it's not part of our natural psyche to take pictures of ourselves with a selfie stick per se, but clearly we were wrong here because 1 million of them Coca-Cola signed up to, and it was a great idea, all branded and personalised. Okay, so just before I finish, I'm just going to say, always think big. That's just an image of the world's largest T-shirt to end with. So all I really want to leave with you is when you're thinking about communication and marketing, please think about promotional merchandise as part of that mix. Thank you for your time.